got a new bookshelf backdrop thing. It's good from like here down, but these ones, Anna, they're not doing too well. Tell me what to put here, because God knows I'd know. I was looking. I was sitting on my desk right there, sitting in this chair that you can see right here. I was sitting there. I was thinking, oh, got a lovely sign there. Got some books. Got my welding mask and my Denko and my weird maraca thing. That's a nice backdrop for those YouTube videos I used to make almost 12 months ago now. What? It's been 12 months, well, 8 months since I uploaded, but 12 months since I made what I would like to call a George Burrows classic. So, set up my camera, looked at the camera, looked in the viewfinder, as I am right now, and thought, oh no, these top ones, they're a bit crap, aren't they? These top shelves, not doing too well. From underneath these top four, looking top notch. This is some top decorating. Maybe this space needs something in it. So I'm gonna fill out. Okay, Anna, here's what I need you to do. I need you to message me, give me an old shout on the snap of the chat, and then tell me what I can put here, here, and here. I used to be really good at that. I used to be really good at pointing to things, and now I've completely lost that intuition. This video has all of the hallmarks of a classic George Burrows video. Wearing a burgundy hoodie, drinking some Pepsi Max, filming. It's fucking a time. My phone's off. I don't know what time it is. Bear with. It is 20 to 3 in the morning. I had no fucking idea. I was like, oh, 2 AM, what a good time to find a video. More like 3 AM. Oh no, I have a roommate and downstairs neighbours. I have a theory, by the way. I have a theory that the neighbours who live underneath me, who I've probably woken up, I anticipate that their bedroom might be right underneath my bedroom, which would just be phenomenal. Can you imagine? They're just like sleeping, 3 AM. It's a Friday, so I mean they probably don't have work tomorrow. I think they're doctors, so you know, duty calls. They're probably in bed right now. My roommate isn't. I made sure to ask her if, you know, I could film a video. Made sure she wasn't asleep so I didn't wake her up. Didn't really think about the downstairs neighbours. They're just like sitting in bed suddenly, out of nowhere, they just hear like, hello, Anna! I have a theory, right? So, the area that I've moved to, I've recently moved in the last, been here 3 weeks Monday I've been here. I have a theory. I live in like quite a nice area, and they're, as we've established, I think doctors, or one of them's a doctor or something. So like obviously, I'm living in a flat with a roommate, that is, so 2 of us paying rent. The flat below us, also 2 of them paying rent, but the 2 of them are doctors. So they're probably thinking like, hey, how the fuck are these like teenagers, well we're adults, but teenagers, 1918, you know, teenagers, how are they paying the same rent that us doctors are? We either think that they think that we are rich trust fund kids, that's Jodie's, my roommate's theory, and I think they think we're like internet stars, which, I mean, 88 subscribers, that's pretty close to being an internet star. I think they might think that we're like famous online and that's how we can afford this flat. So I think that our neighbours might think that we're internet stars, so every time I pass them in the hall I'm just like walking up to them and I kind of just want to like invite them in, so like, hey lads, fancy doing a mukbang this evening? I will, Anna, making this promise to you now, rebooting the channel, still doing George Burrows classics. However, I promise to you right now, never doing a mukbang. I'll leave that to the territory of the Fresh Prince and also Korean people. My roommate loves Korean people, so she'd probably be down for doing a mukbang. Every time I'm like, hey, I make videos occasionally, because that was a thing that I used to say to people. I used to be like, oh yeah, here's one of my main hobbies. I make YouTube videos in my bedroom. They're terrible. Now, can't really say that. It's been a long while, but you know, there was a period of time at which I was like, hey, I make videos, and she was like, I will never watch or be in one of your videos, but I'm sure, you know, she'd be down for a mukbang. Hold on. Jodie, would you be down for a mukbang? Okay, thanks. The answer was probably not. Yeah, the answer was probably not. You know, that's that theory out the window. Just like when, you know, come back, you used to get like 30 views on these. Fucking Steve watching them, fucking Rebecca watching them. Maybe they died, I wouldn't know. But I could always bank on the fact that if it ever dips below the low 20s, I could bring my channel back with a mukbang. But now what I'm going to do, because mukbangs, you got to have more than one person. Can you imagine just one person doing a mukbang? Just like, look at all this food I got, I'm going to eat it alone. I'm pretty sure, I've never watched a mukbang, but I'm pretty sure, define mukbang here. I think, here's the actual definition, here's my definition. 5 or 6 Korean people sitting at a table eating spicy food. That's the entirety of my impression of what a mukbang is comes from the YouTube Rewind video, where like Casey Neistat and 2 teenage girls are like, this needs more K-pop, and then like this mukbang going on.
我给大家做吃的怎么样？
먹방! 먹방! 오, 한국에서 할래?
I like dollars, I like diamonds, I like stunning, I like shining, I like $1,000,000 deals.
It's so dumb. Mukbang! Mukbang! Let's do it in Korea. Oh, fuck me. Fuck me. That's my entire impression of what a mukbang is. Comes from YouTube Rewind 2018. Not well received. As I'm sure a mukbang would be on my channel. That'll never happen, Anna. But if I ever run out of ideas, maybe I will have a solo mukbang in which I eat 70 corn chicken nuggets. There's that guy on YouTube, Matt Stoney, is his name, who wears a headband a lot. Me and Harry, your boyfriend, pictured here, used to watch his videos a lot when we did work experience in Year 11. Me and Harry, your boyfriend, our work experience in Year 11 was, because we were both incredibly lazy and didn't sort out our own work experience, our work experience was, we turned up on the week of work experience to our head of sixth form. Was it sixth form? It was sixth form. It was the first year of sixth form, so it was year 12. Turned up to our head of sixth form, and we're like, hey, Miss Collins, we didn't sort out our work experience. And she was like, what the fuck, guys? Come on, work experience. She was more angry than that. She was like, this is disgraceful. She hated, Miss Collins truly hated me with all of her soul, as she did most people. So she was very mad at me and Harry, and also Nathan. What was his last name? Let's call him Nathan. Nathan Johnson. Just, I was gonna think of like a fake name, like a fake last name. I was like, okay, what's a fake last name? Johnson. No, that's his actual real name. Who knew? Me, Harry, your boyfriend, and Nathan Johnson, we turned up to Miss Collins, and we were like, hey, we haven't figured out our work experience. Oh, Kim was there, but she joined later. And she was like, oh, for fuck's sake, guys, go ask one of the teachers if you could help them out with their enrichment week. Because of the way that work experience worked at my school, our school, Anna, was that, I know that you know this, Anna, but for all of the fans out there who don't know how this worked, what they do is, if you were in year 7, 8 or 9, you do a thing called enrichment week, which was where you just got to like golf for a week or something. There was, basically, like January would roll around, they'd give you like a booklet, and it would be like, oh, you can do all these things for a week, and then all the rich kids would go on like theme of the day, which was like a theme park, and you got to go to a theme park every different day of the week, and all the poor, and that cost like 500 quid. So all the poor kids would do like golfing, and they'd be like, yay, we're having just as much fun as those kids who've gone to theme Thorpe Park today, yay. They didn't have that much fun. I think there was literally one called like golfing, and they all had like terrible pun names. Like one of them, the golf one was like Swing It, and then like the film one was called Be a Film Director, and that's what I did 2 of the years. And the other year I did Warhammer, because as we recall, Anna, I used to be, and still am, a massive nerd. So the second year I did Warhammer, and the first and third years I did Be a Film Producer, I believe was the name of the enrichment. Not a good pun, Mr. Jacks, come on, think of a better pun for your activity of the week. So she was like, so Miss Collins, everyone who turned up to their work experience in year 12 and was like, we didn't sort out work experience, miss, what should we do? She'd be like, alright, go around to your favourite teacher and ask them if they need any help with their work experience. And because me and Harry were late all of our favourite teachers had already assigned their work experience, because everyone has the same favourite teachers. It's not like, oh, my favourite teacher is Mr. Brewer, no one else likes Mr. Brewer. No, everyone likes Mr. Brewer, he's a lovely man. Oh, lovely. Remember when I told Mr. Brewer, I was in a maths lesson once, Mr. Brewer was like, Harry and Anna aren't here. Why is this the voice that I'm going to? Mr. Brewer was like, Harry and Anna aren't here today, and I was like, they're probably fucking, and he was like, thanks for that one, Georgia, and I was like, no problem, Mr. Brewer. I believe the exact quote was Mr. Brewer was like, he was like figuring it out himself, and he was like joking to the rest of the class that you were probably fucking, and he was like, Harry and Anna aren't in today, and they usually sit next to each other, and I was like, well, Anna likes to sit on top of Harry, and then everyone in the class was like, Georgia. Yeah, so me and Harry, we went to, genuinely can't remember his name, the head of the resources department at Coombedean, who were the ones who would like, I was about to go into the voice again, like a teacher would go up and they'd be like, hello, I need a leaflet printing because I am starting a science club that only Georgia Burrows is going to show up to. And then the resources guy would be like, I'll graphic design you a science club thing, and then it would be terrible because, like, for some reason, Coombedean had awful graphic designers. Like, I could have done it better in year 9, apparently. So anyway, we went to the resources guy because apparently he was the only one left, and he was like, oh yeah, for the leaflet that we're making about Enrichment Week, I need photos taken. So it was mine and Harry's job to go around and take photos of a bunch of 11-year-olds playing golf for a week. But instead, we just sent Kim because she actually wanted to do photography and me and Harry definitely didn't. So we just sat in this little tiny box office. We kidnapped a cat at one point. That was great fun. But also along with that, we just watched a lot of videos by this guy called Matt Stoney. Jesus Christ, we finally looped back around to Mukbang. Yes! It all comes back to Mukbang! It's secular! You know, I forgot that the reason I went on that entire tangent was to explain this guy who does, like, solo videos where he eats. He's like, look, here's 3 of his videos here. He's like, oh, eating 1,600 calories worth of cereal in one go. Oh, eating a burrito that's huge. And then he's like, oh, eating the entire McDonald's menu in one go. I think he's got, like, the world record for, like, fastest Happy Meal or something, which is impressive. But because me and Harry were 17, we were like, oh, look at this guy. He can eat a Happy Meal in 16 seconds. That's the greatest achievement anyone's ever made in their life. So we just watched his videos for a while. And also Binging with Babish. Binging with Babish had just become a thing. I don't know if you know who Binging with Babish is, Anna, because I know that your YouTube tastes are like family vloggers for some fucking reason, not Binging with Babish. So, you know, we watched Binging with Babish and I was like, look at this, this is fucking babka. Look how delicious this looks, Harry. And Harry was like, that does not look that good. And I was like, it's a chocolate loaf. Speaking of babka, are you familiar with the Meinhof something? Meinhof Quila? Meinhof something phenomenon, which is where you, like, hear a word and then for the foreseeable future, that word appears to be more common. Like, for example, if you hear for the first time the word miasma, for example, meaning labyrinthian maze, and you're like, ah, now I know what miasma means, for some reason, you'll hear miasma more than you would before. We're on the same page of what the Meinhof phenomenon is, which when you're like, oh, I know the definition of that word now, so now it'll crop up in my brain more frequently when I'm reading shit. Like, I'm trying to think of an exact example of the Meinhof phenomenon. One of the student assistant ladies, I don't know what she's called, I don't know what her job is either. What would her job be? Like fucking student support worker. She helps with like the spastics in our class and shit. Anyway, I was grilling her on eggy bread because I told her that I just moved out and that I was like, you know, living on my own, and that meant that I had to make all my own food. Not that I didn't make all my own food before, but it meant that I had to also buy all my own food, and I didn't understand, I didn't realise how expensive that food was. So I was subsisting on a diet of mostly eggy bread, and she was like, what's eggy bread? And I was like, eggy bread is when you swish up some eggs, put some milk in the eggs. We all know what eggy bread is, Anna. Dip the bread in the eggs, fry up the eggy bread. And then she was like, oh, that's what eggy bread is. I've never had eggy bread before. And then 5 minutes later, she was like, look what I just saw on my friend's Instagram story. She's eating eggy bread. And I was like, wow, what a coincidence. That's not a coincidence, that's the Meinhof phenomenon. The fact that her friend was eating eggy bread had nothing to do with the fact that she just learned the definition of eggy bread, but she's probably seeing eggy bread crop up that much in her daily life, and because she didn't know what eggy bread was, she had never acknowledged it before, but now that she did, she knew about it, so she acknowledged it. Anyway, I'm having a similar thing with babka. I just remembered what babka was recently. Watched the Binging with Babish episode on babka. And then, bloody fucking Barry, great show. We'll get onto that soon. Barry, well no, we'll get onto it now. Barry, great show about, can I just recommend Barry to you? What a show. It's about like a hitman who's a war veteran and he wants to become an actor, but it's a lot more deep than that. And it's got the guy from Pineapple Express in it. I've never seen Pineapple Express, but everyone I've showed Barry to has been like, hey, it's the guy from Pineapple Express. So maybe I'll have to get around to watching Pineapple Express. Watch the Binging with Babish episode about Babka. That day, some character in Barry is like, we should get Babka. And I'm like, that's weird. That's just straight up weird that you mentioned Babka. And then, me and Jodie go on our weekly shop to Aldi. What do I see? It's some fucking Babka. What is this? It's the Meinhof phenomenon. I really need to look up what that's called. Meinhof phenomenon. The Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. It's called the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon, so I was getting it wrong the entire time anyway. The Meinhof is the second part, and the Bader is the first part. The is the first part, and the Meinhof is the second part. But now, the weirdest paradox in the world, as soon as I found out what Bader-Meinhof was, when I was explaining it to the student support worker who learned what eggy bread was, I was like, let me just Google Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. Well, I was like, because we're all familiar with how that's a thing, and I was like, what's that? There's a name for that, and I can't remember what it's called. So then I looked it up and read about the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon, because obviously I was procrastinating in class, as I always do. And I was like, oh, well now I know what the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon is. Time to read about it, read the entire Wikipedia article. That day, someone was like, oh, the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. And now I'm talking about the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. This in itself is a Bader-Meinhof phenomenon right here. So weird. And like, I guarantee, if you didn't know what a mukbang was before, you will now hear about mukbang in your daily life, due to a little thing called the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. Thank you very much. Full circle. Fancy a mukbang.
It's almost 4 a.m. Monday in my room again. Got a crazy vision of a dream escaping from my pen. I'll be swinging, going down. Fuck that noise, no way, no how. You're listening to this song, but I'm working on the next one now. If my goals are odd, I take it as a challenge. People seem confused by how I hope to use my talents. Could he be Weird Al? Could he be Jimmy Fallon? I tell them to imagine Most Def meets Woody Allen. Haters give me balance, every cal's got a Cartman. I know how failure tastes, I drink it straight from the carton. I always keep a gallon in the fridge at my apartment to remind me how it feels to drop the ball like Stevie Barton.